In this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to create this small travel jewelry pouch. It's a great item to have for shorter trips where you want to still have few options for your jewelry, but you don't want to take a huge jewelry case with you. So this pouch features an outside zipper pocket for larger items like a bracelet, and inside it has three slip packets, see-through slip packets, so you can see what's inside for any flat items like a hoop earrings, a small zipper packet for medium-sized items like earrings or bigger necklace or bracelet, a tab for at least 8 pairs of earrings. You can attach a smaller hoops or a stud earrings. It has a tab for your necklaces, so you can store your necklaces. You can just open the tab, wrap the chain around it, slip the pendant inside, and it will keep it nice and flat inside. Also, you have this larger see-through packet for a bracelet or any larger items you want to take with you as well. So that's how the pouch looks like when it's open. So all your items are easily accessible. And then to close it, you just flip the elastic over and you are ready to go. You just slip this in your purse or in your carry-on luggage, and your valuables are always close to you. This pattern is available in my Etsy store, and it will be available at a discount for 1 week from the date of the premiere of this video. The full supply list is listed on Etsy, so if you want to go in and make sure you have all the supplies needed to complete the project before you purchase the pattern, it's accessible there. The pattern file that you purchase on Etsy includes intro notes for the pattern, the full supply list again, a full cut list, and printable pattern pieces with the layout references for the whole pouch. If you like my videos and you like my patterns and you would like me to create more, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and to give this video a like. And now, if you would like to see me creating this cute little jewelry pouch, please keep watching. To get us started, we're gonna cut all our pattern pieces. To do that, you will just refer to the cut list that is provided with the pattern, along with the printable pattern pieces that you're going to be using to cut all necessary pieces to complete your project. Also, along with the pattern pieces, we will need 2 zippers. I'm using a zipper for the inside pocket, that is zipper number 3, with this customized zipper pull, and I customize my zipper pull on the bigger zipper as well, and I will link a video to Kelley's channel how to do that. You can use a zipper by the yard number 3 that you can purchase on Amazon, or you can just use regular ready-made zipper and just cut it down to size. For the outside pocket, I'm using a zipper tape number 5. This is the zipper tape by the yard. You can also use a ready-made zipper, just cut it down to size. I would recommend the smaller zipper for the inside pocket so it doesn't create a bulk when we fold our jewelry pouch. But here, a more substantial zipper would work just fine. Also, to complete our project, we would need a piece of elastic, some rivets, and some snaps. You can use metal snaps or plastic snaps. I'm gonna use plastic snaps for my project today. Now to start working on our project, we're gonna start on putting our inside elements together. So you're gonna take your inside panel, your little packet. You can put the see-through or clear vinyl pieces on the side for now, because we're gonna be prepping our necklace top and our earring top first. So you're gonna take both of those small tops and you're gonna fold them in half and secure that with clips. I wouldn't recommend using a double-sided tape, especially on the longer top that's gonna be the earring tops, because we're gonna be punching holes through the middle, so you don't want to have a sticky tape there. So just use clips to hold the fold in place. And then we're gonna take our small pocket panel, and this pocket will remain online. I think the vinyl has a nice soft backing, so I'm fine with leaving my vinyl unlined. So you're gonna take your smaller zipper, and now you can use double-sided tape. Now we're gonna cut 2 strips of double-sided tape to be placed along the edges of our zipper tape. And starting with one edge, I like my zipper pull on the left, so I'm gonna flip my zipper tape. I'm gonna remove one of the backing strips and center my zipper inside of the opening, making sure I have equal overhang of the zipper tape on both ends. It should be around 1/4 inch on each side, so we just want to make sure that we will have enough space to sew the zipper on the side. Now that we have that place, we're gonna remove the backing of the second piece of tape and secure that to our pocket panel. Now that we have those 3 elements prepped, we're gonna take them to the machine and we're gonna sew around the zipper opening with the 1/8 inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length to attach our zipper. And we're gonna be using the same stitch to sew our straps. So you're gonna be sewing all around those 2 straps with the 1/8 inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that we have the zipper attached and those 2 straps sewn, folded in half, we're gonna finish up our elements, our inside elements. So you want to take those tabs, and on the end where you have the fold, you want to install the female part of your snaps. So I'm using plastic snaps, so I'm just gonna use that tool. So you want to make sure, depending on the size of your cap of the snap, you know, that you are far enough from the beginning of the tab to have space to grab on the tab when you're opening your little straps. So I'm gonna make a mark where I think my snap should be installed. And install the female part of my snap onto the strap. Repeat the same thing with the longer strap. Now this strap is almost completed. We just want to punch a hole on the other end. That's how we're gonna attach our tab to the inside panel. So you wanna punch a hole that is about 1/4 of an inch away from the other short edge of the tab in the middle. And do the same on the other strap. This strap gonna serve as our earrings holder. So I'm gonna punch multiple holes in this strap to thread my earrings through and to be able to attach them to the strap. To do that, I'm gonna take my ruler and a marking tool. And I'm gonna measure 1/2 inch from the rivet hole and make a mark 1/2 inch away in the middle. So I want to make sure I have all my marks 1/2 inch away from each other from the center. When you do that, you should have 8 marks in the middle for 8 holes for 4 pairs of earrings. And now that we have it marked, we're just gonna punch the holes. When you have all your holes poked through, you can put that aside. Now we're gonna finish up our little zipper pocket. So you want to align the sides of the pouch and clip it together. And when you have that prepped, you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna sew the sides only with the 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I would recommend using a zipper foot here so you can get real close to where the zipper end is. So just sew from that side with the 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and do the same on this side and leave the bottom open. And now that we have all our inside elements completed, we can start the assembly of the inside of our jewelry pouch. So we're gonna start with our earrings tab. You wanna place it 3/8 of an inch up from this cut. You want to make sure that it's centered and that it's 3/8 of an inch up from this cut. When you have that placement, you're gonna take a marking tool and you want to mark where you're gonna place your rivet to attach your tab to the inside panel. And now you're gonna attach the tab with a rivet. Now we're gonna take our necklace tab and we're gonna place it 1/4 of an inch away from our earring tab, making sure that the end of this tab is in the middle of our necklace tab. Now you're gonna take a marking tool and mark the placement of your rivet and secure the top with the rivet. Also, one thing to keep in mind when you're attaching your tabs, just make sure that your snap is wrong side down, right? You don't want to end up with a strap with a snap that will not have a space to close. Now that we have our straps attached, we can work on attaching our male part of our snaps. So you're gonna take 2 sets of the male parts of the snaps. With the necklace tab, you wanna make sure it's nice and flat and straight, and find the placement for the male part of the snap. Use your tools to install the snap. When you're installing the earring stop, you want to make sure that it has a little slack. So you want to make sure that at least one of your fingers fits in underneath, and making sure that it's straight. You're gonna find a place to install your male part of the snap. And this way, when you put your earrings through the top, it will have a little space for the post on the back of your earrings. So that's perfect. And now we're gonna work on the placement of our clear vinyl panels. To hold them in place, you can just use double-sided tape, just the small pieces. I'm gonna work on the smallest panel first, which is the holder for our necklaces. So just put a small piece of double-sided tape that then it's gonna be removed afterwards. So just make sure you're using something that can be removed. And you're gonna place the panel underneath your necklace top. About 1 inch underneath your top. So that's the placement of our necklace pocket. Then we're gonna take this smaller panel, and again using double-sided tape. You want to place it about half an inch away from this edge. Make sure that it's centered. So you want to make sure it's centered here, and it's about half an inch away from the straight edge. And now our last biggest panel. And this panel we're gonna place on the other side, half an inch away from the straight edge, and centered from the shorter edges. Now that you have all your panels placed, you're gonna take this to the machine. You can move your tab so it's out of the way of your presser foot, and you're gonna start sewing. You're gonna sew this pocket along those 3 edges, with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. The smallest panel you're gonna sew along the bottom edge and this side edge with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. And the largest panel you're gonna sew along 3 edges with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Make sure to backstitch on the beginning and on the end of each seam. Now that we have those pockets sewn in, we can remove our double-sided tape. So now you can customize those two pockets on the side or on the top and on the bottom. So I like to have a couple smaller pockets for flat earrings that's just not gonna work well with the top. So I'm gonna split this pocket into 3 equal parts, and I want to keep this pocket larger to have space for maybe bracelets, some bigger items, but I want to make sure that it's gonna the item's gonna stay secure, so I'm gonna install a snap in the middle. So now I'm gonna take it and create 3 equal pockets on this side. Now that I have my marks, I'm gonna take it to the machine and I'm gonna sew from the bottom to the top with the 3.5 stitch length, making sure I backstitch on the beginning and on the end of each seam. Now that I have all my clear vinyl pockets completed, now I'm gonna attach my little zipper pocket, and I'm gonna use some double-sided tape as well that then I'm gonna remove, so make sure you're not using something that is permanent. Keep the way the zipper opens in mind if you have preferences how you want it to be positioned. Remove the backing of the tape and place the pocket, centering it on the clear vinyl pocket and making it overlap by 1/2 inch. So you want to make sure that it's in the middle of your clear pocket and 1/2 inch lower, because that's how we're gonna sew the pocket on, and we want to make sure we have the space to do so. So make sure your pocket is secured and take it to the machine and sew it with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and then come back with the second row of stitches. That's going to be 1/4 of an inch away from this edge and bring it back to the top. So we want to have 2 seams attaching our pocket and closing the bottom of it. One is going to be 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and the second one is going to be 1/4 of an inch away from the cut edge. Now that we have our zipper pouch attached, and I removed the double-sided tape, so don't forget to do that. That was the last step for the inside of our pouch, so we can now put that aside and start working on the outside of our pouch. Only element on the outside of our pouch is the zipper pocket, so we're gonna take the zipper and our 2 lining panels. You want to place the zipper teeth side up on the long edge of the lining panel on the right side of the lining and attach it with clips. Now you're gonna flip it over, place your second lining panel right side up, and attach the second edge, the other edge of the zipper tape, along the long edge of the lining panel. What we want to do, we want to have a nice clean inside, because that's what's going to be visible. And this is how we're going to attach the packet, so the wrong side of the lining will be on the wrong side of our main panel. So when you have that prepped, you're going to take it to the machine and you're going to sew along those two zipper edges with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 2.5 or 3.5 stitch length. Now that our lining is sewn in, we can use the iron to flatten the lining panels. And now using double-sided tape, we're gonna attach the pocket panel inside of our zipper opening. So take your double-sided tape and place a strip on each edge of the zipper. Remove one of the strips, but make sure you're gonna make sure you're keeping the zipper pull in mind. So if you want your zipper to close and to have the zipper pull on the left, you're gonna have that placement. So you want to make sure it closes when you pull towards the left. And if you like the opposite, just flip the packet over and your position is reversed. So I like my zipper to close towards the left, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. Remove one of the backing strips and center my zipper in the middle of my zipper opening. So I want to make sure that I have overhang on each side, equal overhang on each side. I want to make sure that my zipper is centered. And now that I'm happy with the placement, I'm gonna take the other backing of the tape off and place my packet. When you have the zipper pocket secured to the main panel, you want to make sure that it remains open, and you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna sew around the zipper opening with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch lengths, and make sure to back stitch on the beginning and on the end of the seam. Now my zipper pocket lining is attached to my outer panel. I'm gonna flip it over and take the upper panel, bring it over to cover the lower panel. You can now trim the bottom panel to size. And now clip the lining panels together or all around. When you have that prepped, you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna sew the lining close on those 3 edges, making sure you are not sewing through the outer panel. So you're gonna keep the panel out of the way of your seam. You may wanna sew the sides first and then finish up the bottom. You're gonna use 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 2.5 stitch length. Now our packet is completed. it's closed and functional. We can now move on to connecting our outer and inside panels. So you want to flip your outer panel wrong side up. You want to make sure that your inside panel has this packet on the bottom. So you want to make sure that this packet, the outside packet, is this way. So the lining is facing down, and then your inside panel has the little zipper packet also facing down, because that's gonna be our inside, and this part, it's gonna be our outside flap. So you just want to make sure that everything is positioned correctly. So when you have those two panels positioned correctly, you're gonna use clips to attach both of them and align all the edges. Make sure your zipper pull on the back is in the middle. Your panel is nice and flat. And a note also, if your panels do not align exactly the same, don't worry about it, because we're gonna be trimming the final seam. So this way, this pattern allows for a little bit of a shifting in the panels, because after we sew those two panels together, we're gonna trim the whole seam all around. So now, when you have those two panels clipped together, you're gonna take it to the machine and you're gonna sew starting from this point, carrying this seam up to here, leaving this space unsewn, and starting again here and carrying the seam up to here. So we want to make sure that those two ends remain open. Again, we're gonna sew here using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and continue our seam here, leaving those little flaps open. Now that we have our seam completed, and as you can see, I left those two flaps open, we're gonna trim our seam allowance all around the pouch. You can use just a regular straight shears and just trim your seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch, or you can use a decorative pinking shears, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use my scalloped pinking shears to trim the seam allowance. After you trim your seam allowances and you have those little fuzzies, you can just zap them with the lighter. Just be pretty quick, you don't want to melt your vinyl. Now the last thing is to add our closure. So you want to fold your pouch the way it will be folded when you are using it. Fold your little flaps, secure that with clips, and if you're happy how it closes, take your elastic and measure a piece that is just slightly shorter than the distance between those two flaps, because you want to have a little bit of a tension, but not too much, because you want to give the pouch a little slack. If it's going to be full of your jewelry while you're traveling, you want to make sure it's not gonna the elastic's not gonna snap. So I'm gonna just overlap it here by 1/2 inch, stretch it a little bit, and make sure that it's 1/2 inch on this side. I'm gonna also zap the edges of the elastic with my lighter. And now I'm gonna open the little parts that we left unsewn and insert my elastic inside. Make sure that it's 1/2 inch inside of the opening. You can feel it with your fingers. And secure that with the clip. You can now take it to the machine and sew it on one side, because this way you're gonna have it attached while you are attaching it to the other side. So now, when you have that inserted on one end, take it to the machine and connect those two ends of the seams to hold the elastic inside of the opening. So you're gonna be sewing with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from the cut edge with the 3.5 stitch length, and you can do 2 rows of stitches. Just go one way and come back the other to make sure that your elastic is well attached to your little flap. Now that I have one side of the elastic attached, I can test it again to make sure that I'm gonna have some tension. It seems to be perfect. If you feel it's too loose, too long, you can always trim it at this point. So here you're gonna insert the other end of the elastic in the other opening. And when you have that inserted, you can do 2 things. If you think it's going to be too hard for you to sew it on the machine, you can secure the other end of the elastic with a rivet. Or you're gonna just take it to the machine, make sure that all other parts of the pouch are out of the way of the seam. Place just the flap and the elastic on the bed of the machine and stitch it to hold the elastic in place. The project is now completed. We have our outside pocket for larger items. We can open our case and expose our smaller compartments. We have the smaller zipper pocket, 3 see-through pockets. You have your stud earrings tab, your necklace compartment, and the larger pocket for bracelet or necklaces. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and to give the video a like, and make sure to grab a copy of the pattern to make your own traveling jewelry case. Till the next time.